We are Arsenal.
Wembley bound.
We love Arsenal.
Oh yes,
We are Arsenal.
no mercy.
We're Arsenal. Forever. We are Arsenal.
Road to Wembley.
Hello
We
and
love
welcome to this
Arsenal.
Arsenal Football Manager 2019 series. In this series, as you can see, we have the latest updates with all the current players from all the teams that have moved around recently in their rightful places. This obviously includes all the Liverpool players who have recently joined the club, Jadon Shaqiri, and so on. We have Cristiano Ronaldo being one of the main players at Juventus. There you go. So there's him transferred to Juventus. We have the current Arsenal players in their rightful places as Socrates, Leno, and so on. Matteo Guendouzi, his new club as well. And we've gone through pre-season. We've lost some players, we've signed some players, and we're going to show you who we've signed, who we've lost, and we're going to play our opening game away at Bournemouth. So in our transfer history, as you can see actually in the transfer centre, we still have £27 million left to spend in this window and £279,000 a week wage. So we do have quite a lot of money. If we do need to use it, we might bring in one more player. We shall see. But on the outs side of things first, we recuperated £54 million. We did lose both of our goalkeepers from last season in David Ospina and Petr Cech for a combined total of £23 million. We lost Mohamed El Neni to PSG. He followed Petr Cech for £9.5 million. We also ended up selling Granit Xhaka to Everton for 16 million, and Lucas went back to Spain to Villarreal for 5 million. We sent a few of the youngsters out on loan, notable ones, Rob Holding going to Huddersfield and Josh Da Silva going to Hibs, René Adelaide going out on loan to France as well. Transfers that we bought into the club. We bought in Max Meyer on a free. He was a free agent after his contract expired at Schalke. We also brought in Moussa Dembele from Celtic for £20 million, which I thought was quite a good move. Got some very, very good stats and scored a decent amount of goals for Celtic, and also scored a reasonable amount of goals for Fulham the season before. Then there's the big one. We managed to get in Eden Hazard for 63 million, which is probably the best transfer we've made and I've ever made on this game. He was listed as the game started. I'm not sure if it's just the database that has him listed, as he is sort of known to be a little bit unsettled in real life. So he was transfer listed for 63 million. I couldn't pass up the opportunity. Maybe slightly unrealistic there, but I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to snipe Hazard for 63 million. We bought in Lichtsteiner. Obviously, he is an Arsenal player anyway, but for some reason he was at Tottenham. I think that's just a mistake in the database. So we moved him over for a free transfer. And we signed a youngster called Tom Williams. He's 16 years old, has some fairly good physical stats. He is a right winger. He is obviously a regen, as you can see. And we brought him in as a player to develop for the future. He was on the books of Carlisle before we brought him in on a free transfer. He was wanted by a lot of the big clubs, wanted by about 34 clubs or something silly. So we pipped a few clubs to the post and managed to bring him in on a free transfer. But today we play Bournemouth. Bournemouth have had a very slow summer. They bought in Vlad Dragomir, who is obviously a former Arsenal player, on a free transfer. Not sure how much game time he'll get. And they also brought in Guilherme Sequeira, I think is how you say it. Former Atletico Madrid, Valencia player, played around Spain and Italy for most of his career, and he signed as a wing back for Bournemouth. But today we play them away from home in our opening fixture of the season, and this is the team that's going to do it. We're going with a 4-2-3-1. All three of our formations at the moment are actually a 4-2-3-1, which is a bit samey and a bit boring. That might change throughout the season if this doesn't work, but going forward we have a lot of firepower. Ozil is still not fully fit, so we can't even have him in the team yet. We've got Dembele in the side as well, and Welbeck, who might get some more game time this year as well. So we've got a lot of players going forward that are very, very talented. So we need to bulk out the midfield, the attacking side of the midfield, quite a lot. But we've got a four at the back of Kolasinac, Papastathopoulos, Mustafi, Bellerin. And then we have midfield two of Max Meyer and Torreira today, with Hazard, Mkhitaryan, Lacazette and Aubameyang, the lone striker. Aaron Ramsey, I'm not sure why I haven't put him in. We'll put him on the bench. I think he did pick up an injury in pre-season. Actually, that's the reason he's not in the squad. So he'll come on the bench. But for now, it'll be Torreira and Max Meyer who are going to start in the midfield for us in our opening game of the Premier League season. So Bournemouth going with a preferred 4-4-2 with Sekera starting at left back, Nathan Ake, Cook and Francis, Pugh, Sermon, Gosling and Fraser, Jermaine Defoe and the threat for their team, which is Callum Wilson up front. We see Vlad Dragomir hasn't even made the bench for them today. Lewis Cook is on that bench. He's a midfielder that we are looking at bringing in for the future, but they are asking for a hell of a lot of money. But today we should pick up a win. We're just going to say to the boys, we are the favourites here. Let's go out a lot how we should go out in this game and really kick it off properly. We are going to make sure that we have the correct highlights on. We do. And we're going to kick off here against Bournemouth. Match to be doing highlights, key highlights. Yeah, we are on the correct highlights. I was a bit worried there that we were just going to score from kickoff for a second. We'll have that as the league table. As you can see, Manchester United and Tottenham both winning their opening games. Tottenham actually beat Chelsea with a late winner from Harry Kane. And there's Hazard, and he's opened his scoring for Arsenal 13 minutes in. Eden Hazard puts in his first shot, I think, on goal. A free kick over the wall. Artur Boruc beaten a little bit poorly there, I think, but beaten nonetheless, and we're not going to complain. It's a must not lose the opening game of the season for any new manager and for any team, really, in the Premier League. And we do lead this one by a 0-0 very early on. As Ake finds Cook, Gosling. We don't want them to play too much football. Today we want to be closing that ball down nice and quick. No need to sit back against the Bournemouth side. We should be beaten. And there's Papastathopoulos, otherwise known as Socrates. I think Socrates is going to be a little bit easier to say throughout the season, so we might just stick with that. Kolasinac already on a yellow, which is a small issue for us, as the midfield two of Torreira and Maya will get used to each other. They'll get a lot of game time this year. Hazard inside. This is where he likes to be, driving at defenders, and Boruc gathers it at the second attempt. Palmed that one straight out, and as things stand, we are top of the division. We've come in at half time, leading the game, being done in the possession a little bit, which is slightly disappointing. Other results to look at: Wolves are behind 1-0. Tip them to do well this year in real life and in this game. Expect them to do well with some of the players they've signed: João Moutinho, Rui Patricio, and the players they already had in Diego Jota and a couple of the other boys that they've got. Fulham also signing good players. Andre Schürrle coming in there. Very talented player to have on a 2-year loan. But Burnley top the Premier League on the opening day. It will be interesting to see how closely in line this save sort of comes to pass in real life, as Aubameyang, it's saved by Boric, not fully away. Mkhitaryan goes down. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how closely in line with real life this save sticks to. Obviously, we've already made a semi-unrealistic signing of Eden Hazard. You never know. That could maybe Unai Emery can lure a man in. You never know. Here's Lacazette. There are rumours of some big names, Ousmane Dembele being one of them, coming to the Emirates. Here's Aubameyang, here's Hazard again, and it's 2-0 in front of the Arsenal faithful that have travelled to Bournemouth today, and it's Eden Hazard. And that could be a story of the season. Mkhitaryan does well here. Aubameyang has a wonderful run from Eden Hazard to get in behind and just smash it past Artur Boric in the Bournemouth goal, and we lead by 2-0. Junior Stanislas and Lewis Cook coming on for Fraser and Dan Gosling. Nathan Ake has picked up a booking, and with 10 minutes to go, we can make our substitutions that we want to make. Ozil has not been fully fit, but we'll give him a few minutes. Aubameyang, Dembele and Ramsey for Max Meyer. And Dembele's happy to be a complete forward. We wanted Giroud back. I'm a big fan of Olivier Giroud, but we couldn't get him back in, unfortunately. He's someone we'll look at in January as our third option up front. We're going to play Lacazette as a wide man. That's the plan in this formation. He's not going to be a striker. He's not going to get close to Dembele as a second striker. In my opinion, Dembele is the man I like. Signed for the reason to come on, be a cup game striker, and to be a striker that's quick and pacey and can get at defenders into the second half. That's what he's been signed for. I don't think Lacazette offers that. He will be one of our main wide men this year. And maybe Danny Welbeck gets back into an Arsenal team that maybe seemed quite a way away. But we've won this opening game. We've won it by 2-0. We've looked very, very strong. We've had 16 shots, 9 of them on target compared to Bournemouth's 2. I do believe that is going to put us top of the league. A man of the match performance from Eden Hazard. We'll leave it to the assistant who's absolutely screwed it for us there. And we'll have a look at the league table and see our next few games. So Hazard makes his debut and is classy in a 9.1 rating, 16.1 kilometres, 2 goals for him. Up next, Liverpool, West Ham, Manchester City, a Europa League group stage match which hasn't been decided yet who we are going to be playing in that, and then Manchester United. So the next 3 out of our 4 are huge games before we play Fulham, Leicester, Palace and Burnley, which hopefully should be 12 points. And then we have a big game at the Emirates against Tottenham. Not sure which games we will show. We might show the City game, or we might, depending on who we get in the Europa League, we'll probably know before this one. It might be the Europa League game, Manchester United. We'll make some decisions on that one. But for the time being, we're top of the league. We've not conceded. That's got to be worth a subscribe, hasn't it?
We are Arsenal.